you get that one out there on the table for me, Susan, please? Thank you. All right, folks, I'm going to start this morning. We're going to skip the minutes. Sheila's been tied up, and we'll have those hopefully at the next meeting. We've got approval of payroll and claims. We have payroll at $293,318.88. Regular claims at $205,243 and a penny. Out-of-cycle claims at $48,253.83 for a total payroll and claims of $546,815.72. Do I hear a motion to approve?
I make a motion we approve the total payroll claims for $5,446,815.72.
Got a motion by Bob. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Joel. All in favor? Aye. Old business, we have none. I'm sure we do, but there's none on there. PETA board appointments. Dusty called me yesterday. He's out of town, but he's got one of his gals stepping in for him this morning, so we appreciate you being here.
Yes. Do I need to turn this on, or is it already?
It's already on.
Okay.
Yep.
He is asking you guys to appoint the same three as last year, so it would be Bill Purcell, Debbie Keith, and Chris Wesley.
And those are the three that are currently, you said, that we've been appointed.
Yes.
Danny, you want to touch on the PETA board?
Yeah, I just wanted to remind commissioners and public that the 5-member PETA board, that the commissioners appoint 3 of those members, and the county fiscal body appoints 2 of the members. At least one of the members appointed by the fiscal body must be level 2 or 3 assessor appraiser, and at least one of the commissioners' appointments must be a level 2 or 3 appraiser. However, they may waive this requirement. The county fiscal body may waive this as well. No more than 3 of the 5 members may be of the same political party, and at least 3 of the 5 are residents of the county.
Thank you, Danny. Any questions, gentlemen?
Yeah, Bill Purcell.
Debbie Keith, Bill Purcell, and Chris Wesley.
Okay.
Do I hear a motion to approve the 3 for the PETA board?
Go ahead, Bob.
I'll make that motion we appoint those 3 for the P board.
Have a motion by Bob. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Joel. All in favor? Aye. Thank you. Have a good day. Okay, we need to speak real quick about a maternity leave policy. This has come up a few times. It was brought up in the council meeting earlier this month, and it is our policy to put together, commissioners, and I suggested in the council meeting that we allow a 6-week leave for maternity for mom or dad, depending on what the situation is with employment with the county. I would like to go ahead and get that moved forward this morning if we can do so, and then it'll go back to the council and they'll be able to put a funding amount to that and how they want to fund it. Go ahead, Dana.
So would this be a paid leave?
It would be a paid leave is what we're recommending, yes.
Okay. Because currently the avenue has been using FMLA, which is the county would continue to pay the insurance, but would hold a position of that kind or similar for them to come back to. And it would be 12 weeks, and it can be either parent, but if both parents want to do it, they can only do 6 weeks each. So this would be, more beneficial to the parents by actually being a paid leave. Right now, the only way it's paid is if they have accumulated time off.
Right. So it's important for us to maintain our younger employees that want to raise a family, and we're not giving that opportunity to have that paid time off. So is there any discussion on this? If not, I would like to have council put together, our counselor put together a policy for maternity leave for county employees.
For 6 weeks.
6 weeks paid.
I'd agree with that.
I have no trouble with it.
Okay. Then if you can work on that, and then once the policy is put together, we can actually put a vote to it and move forward.
All right. Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Planning and zoning, Susan?
All right, you have two rezone requests in front of you. One is for a William Kessler in Jennings Township to rezone the property from single family to multifamily. There was no objections. There's actually, most of the neighbors were in favor of it. He wants to run a multi-unit Airbnb out of structure that he has on the property. And then you also have a rezone request from Billy Williams Jr., and it's in Washington Township, going from agricultural to commercial. And there was no objections to that as well.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone here for Mr. Kessler?
No, he was going to be out of town.
Okay. Bob sits on the planning commission. You have any concerns or questions?
No,
or-
I'll tell you what, the crowd was very, very receptive on that, and we even had 3 letters too that
We
we,
had actually 6 different
yeah,
letters from
6
neighboring
different letters, and
properties.
there's room full, everybody was in favor of it. So,
Excellent.
like I said, it was very, very well needed, and we all approved it, and I'm wholeheartedly for it too.
All right.
And it comes from the Owen County Plan Commission as a favorable recommendation for both of the projects.
With all that being said, do we have a motion to approve the rezone from residential to residential multifamily on, is this ordinance 2024-005? Do I hear a motion to approve?
I make a motion for we approve 124-005.
I have a motion by Bob. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Joel. All in favor? Aye. And gentlemen, with your blessing, I will sign this rezone.
That's Kessler, correct?
Correct.
First one.
That was the first one. Pass these down for you. You just go in the basket. The next one is, get it flipped over here. Billy Williams Jr., he's present here this morning. Susan, you want to elaborate on this one?
So this one was the BZA had given them a conditional use variance, which because of the pandemic and everything, he didn't get it developed in time, so it expired, the conditional use. So he came back in to rezone the property commercial to run a vineyard, a wedding venue, and to bottle wine on his property. So that's, and it was favorable. There was nobody in objection to that as well. And the board gave a favorable recommendation.
Thank you for that. And there'd been some questions. Matter of fact, Norman called me and we talked about liquor license for this particular
Right,
property.
and he was going to work on that.
Right, and I spoke to him this morning, and he's in the process of going through those steps and to sell as well as manufacture.
Yes, the main idea is to manufacture. You know, of course, we want to, I'm of the mindset, let's keep everything in Owen County, you know, and I want to make our wine, sell our wine in Owen County, but I think, like we discussed this morning, it's a good idea if we just go ahead and get all the proper channels done and take care of it, so.
If you're going through the pains, you might as well do it all at one time.
There you go.
That's right.
Make a big out.
And I'm assuming that this is 006. Dan, you have any comments on this one?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. Gentlemen, do I hear a motion to approve the rezone from agricultural to business? Ordinance number 2024-006. Do I hear a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
A motion by Joel. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Seconded by Bob. All in favor? Aye. And again, blessing for me to sign the rezone.
And that one was favorable too, but
It was, yes. Pass that on down.
we've got Muscot and we've got Chamberson already growing out there. And one of the funny things is we made a batch of wine out of the wild grapes off the farm this year, and it's one of the best batches I ever made.
They stick with what you already have there, right? Well, good luck to you.
Thank you.
Building department,
I think that was over code.
okay.
Yeah.
It was underneath that, so I just wanted to make sure there wasn't any other discussion.
Yeah, I believe it's in regards to our just continuing discussion of code enforcement. So,
Lao payroll updates, and I'll let Sheila jump in here a little bit, and Dana can, I know he's been working with Sheila and Lao as well, so.
Are you going to discuss the enforcement officer? That was the purpose of
The building department,
was listed.
yeah, we can do that. Thank you. Well, I was thinking she had something, so.
I don't have anything.
Okay, we'll go back to building department before we go back to Lau. We had presented a plan to the council sometime back, and we pulled that for a rezone officer. We would like to, we tried to work that with the sheriff's department, and it was just an expense that wasn't gonna work with the retirement benefits, the vehicle, so on and so forth. So we would like to present to the council, and I've talked to Polly a little bit, and I've talked to Anton a little bit about using the storage unit funds to put this officer into place, roughly put $10,000 into the position right now of building inspector, train that individual as a code enforcement, and then possibly leave some funds available for a part-time building inspector if need be as we go on. I don't know how many people pay attention to the building department office, but there's a standing line out that door every day. And that's a good thing. That means the county's growing. And I know that the new 911 director, I've talked to her a couple of times and asked her to introduce herself to Susan over the GIS and the layers, and she can't get in her office because it's constantly busy. So, and I know that for a fact because I can't get in there to see her sometimes. So anyway, we're looking at going to the council with using roughly $35,000 out of the storage unit money. It will be self-supported, not a taxpayer dollar would be going to that whatsoever, and it would help that department greatly and help our county enforce our ordinance.
I do want to let you know that last week and yesterday, I was in floodplain training, and the floodplain administrator position, which is also me, has to get 17 hours of training before June of next year to be certified to do that, and a complete review of all properties within those areas, those flood hazard areas will have to be done, which also includes what they call blue sky, which is pre any damage, and then if there is any damage from flood, earthquake, wind, tornadoes, those properties all have to be reviewed again and have to be issued, you know, and an extensive review has to be done each time something happens within those floodplain areas. So that's another reason why we really need another person to help offset some of that inspection if we do have. And actually our webinar that we were on yesterday, Spencer was actually the prime example of the flood reasoning for having.
2008, I'm assuming is what you're
Yes.
talking about, yeah.
1913 is the biggest, and then 2008 is the second biggest.
And this is nothing at county level, this is DNR and state
This is
level.
DNR and FEMA,
Yeah,
because they do
FEMA.
not want to have to keep paying people out of these properties.
So this is required by them, and we have to follow those guidelines. And Jack went to some of this training as well, but
Yes.
this is a separate entity.
Yes.
She is required, along with Jack, if there is a tornado or any of these flood areas that are damaged, she now will be required to participate in that data.
Yeah, there has to be a mitigation plan to how how we process it.
So it's very important that we get some additional help in there for code enforcement, plus to have some other additional help to answer phones, help with administrative things that's going on in there. So anyway, gentlemen, we've talked about this a little bit. Unless anybody's got a problem, I think we should go ahead and take this to the council at their next meeting.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you. Okay, now we'll go to the LAO. Thank you, Sheila.
I think it's Maddie and Dana. Dana had sent an email, there's still some questions on policy 401, I believe it was. I don't think they're ready to move forward with that based on some questions that he had.
Yeah, I have, part of it is this, there's a certain substance in these that would need to be changed for LAO to proceed. So rather than hold them up, I'd like to go through what those substantive changes are, and if the commissioners can have general consensus that they're willing to go along with that, then I don't see any reason why LAO couldn't get started, and we could formalize it at the first meeting next month.
Gentlemen, I'd like to go ahead and let him run through those. We've got departments that are desperately waiting on this system to get up and running, so
Absolutely.
let's not hold it up.
Yeah, it's probably gone longer than it should now.
Okay, the first policy, doing it in numerical order, would be 303, and it's vacation benefits. There were basically three changes. One, in the old policy, it talked about the accrual rates, and we took that out. LAO has a certain way that they want accrual rates to be, and that really is an administrative task and does not relate it to personal policy. It does not
Dana,
change the days
can I
they're
actually
entitled. Yeah.
interject? Vicki actually contacted me just recently, and I did not get to you in enough time, but those accrual rates are actually able to stay the same, but they have to take them in increments of like the quarter increments. So they can accrue them at the increments that we have them at, but they can only take them at like 0.25, 0.5, 0.75. So
Yes.
that's a little different than what we had discussed.
Okay, so if I put those back in, again, it's really irrelevant in the policy because that's just how it's done administratively. It doesn't change their number of days.
Yeah, we're not changing our days, it's just how it's
Right.
allowed.
So what does change is that the previous policy indicated that the time periods had to be used. Let me find it here. Let's see. Oh, previously they had to be used in minimum 1/2 day. And LAO recommends going to 15 minutes. And I believe one of the reasons for that is that if you only allow half a day and say they're a quarter of an hour short of getting their pay, that could be used to subsidize it so that they still get the paycheck that they need. So that's the purpose of going from a half a day to 15 minutes.
So a quarter of an hour.
Yeah.
Okay.
The other part. See, the other was that, I think that's the only substantive change in that. Maddie, do you know of anything else?
No, that one off the top of my head.
I know we talked about, there was like three things, but maybe we've covered them all here. It was comp time, it may have been one of them, but that's part of your vacation and,
The
Right,
comp time is a
right.
different policy.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, in the vacation benefits, it does not include overtime or any special forms of compensation within, so, yeah, so that's mainly 303. So again, the big part of it is going from half a day to 15 minutes, and that just works much better in the system.
Okay.
In the holiday pay ordinance, it states that paid time off for holidays will not be counted as hours worked for purposes of determining overtime. And so that policy isn't changing. What happened is when that it's not consistent with other policies. Policy 307 is on personal and sick leave, and it discusses first that sick leave and personal time has to be taken in 1 hour equal increments, and likewise the law suggests going to 15 minutes, so again people don't get shorted on their paycheck. Let's see. And also that there is no provision, like the holiday, there was a couple policies that said that these accruals don't affect the, basically the policy, these other policies says that they don't count holiday pay when they're doing 40 hours a week, but the holiday pay says that they should, and so we just need these all to be consistent, that none of these, because holidays aren't part of the 40 hours. So, so that covers 307.
That was policy 307.
Yeah.
Okay.
Timekeeping is one that making a few changes in. Part of it's to clean it up, but the current policy is based on what the manual system is for payroll. And so I'm adding language to the fact that once the allow payroll system is in place, that non-exempt employees shall follow the rules and procedures where the system has maybe established from time to time to allow the flexibility to for them to get training on how to run, how to put in their time, how to log in, how to log out. Reading my notes, that's the key issue of that.
So that last part, you're basically saying we're going to train our people how to use a time clock.
Yes, yeah, and it's, because it's different than what the policy says, but the policy stays in place until they get converted over, and then they follow that procedure. So I think that's the only significant change there. Also, it takes out the portions where it talks about rounding up, rounding down. The employees simply log in and log out. The system will do whatever it needs to do, but they just simply log in and out.
And the system basically follows the same guidelines as the federal.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's all we care about.
So that's it for that one. Comp time 506 is one where it had stated that the holiday pay is not exempt. It's added in when concerning comp time. So if you work on a 40-hour week, if you work 4 days, 8 hours, and had 1 day of holiday hours, and you had 2 hours over on one of those days, you get paid for 2 over because they count the holidays as being part of that 40 or 35. That is not what the holiday policy says. And so to be consistent, the holiday is not considered when determining overtime. Comp time, and the same thing is true for last policy of overtime. So that is basically the essential things that if the commissioners are in, have consensus that there's no issues with any of those changes, then I do not see why Lau can't move forward. And then we can tweak these a little bit more. Many of the policies also talked about 2021 and certain things they were doing then, which doesn't apply now, so it'd be good to just clean these up a little bit more.
Sure. Gentlemen, I'm gonna ask for a motion to approve county attorney to make these policy adjustments and bring them back to us at the next meeting for final vote. Do I hear a motion on that?
I'll make a motion on that.
Have a motion by Joel. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Bob. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Dana. Sheila, you got anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, okay, so Lao won't enter anything into their system and create the software or the program in order to run this, thus the policies. And that, again, Dana and I and Maddie and Nicole were on a conference call with Lao. They indicated it would probably be May before we could get started. Now we're adding a couple more weeks to it. I'm comfortable enough in the conversations and what he just related that if you could have the motion to allow him to make sure that those changes are in there and go ahead and proceed in giving them to Lau. I mean, if you're in agreement with them, and again, it was just verbiage, basically you had 4 or 5 policies that contradicted each other, so that was basically what I get it, that they were cleaning up and then
It's
trying to
just
do
cleaning up some
quarter
loose
half
ends,
and
sure.
3/4 hours and stuff, but if you don't and you want him to bring them back, that's fine, just know that we're adding.
We just have to vote on them at a meeting.
I'm still gonna be at a standstill until the policies are approved, because they won't proceed with they develop software, like, based on our policies, so they have obviously like the base system, but they create a whole separate software for each person, like each county or like, system for each individual thing, so I won't be able to proceed until I have approved policies, because they won't do it.
Yeah, and I have covered all the substantial
So she's kind of
changes.
contradicting what you just said. If we went ahead and approved it now, but she said she can't do anything until she has actual signed policies.
Well, I haven't even read through those policies yet, so I can't really determine if they're,
The changes that Dana just presented were the changes that we went over with in that conference meeting. He presented and that were in there. If he makes those changes and gives them to Maddie and him and Maddie and allow people to say, yeah, this is what we needed, then we can move on.
Okay?
And I have made all those changes already, and I've also cleaned them up by removing any stuff from 21 when they were doing things, because that time's long gone. So I cleaned them up that way, and some other just general verbiage here and there that wasn't worded quite right, so it's just minor,
To fit their system.
yeah, just minor edible changes.
Use
I
the,
suggest
you know,
we move on with it and get the ball rolling, that way
Yep.
we're not
And he
holding up
can,
this.
and yeah, you can,
Dragging on and dragging
when he
on.
gets those, give them to Maddie and let her look through and get with the Lao lady. And again, if you wait until the next meeting, we're probably looking at June. I just don't want it to keep
So
on
let's
going.
make a motion to go ahead and approve Sheila and Dana to move forward with the LAO as presented this morning. I think that'll cover everything. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
I'll make a
Okay. I
motion.
did a motion by Joel,
To allow-
second by Bob.
Go ahead.
You want to add something
I was just to allow Dana and Sheila to proceed forth with the changes needed in the payroll amendments.
Thank you. And that's seconded by Bob. All in
Yeah.
favor, aye. There you go,
Aye.
Sheila, that ought to get the ball rolling.
Get those two.
Anything else on that? Do we have anything on capital asset policy?
No, we keep talking about having an administrative meeting to go over what equipment that the county does have, and we haven't made that.
We made one that got canceled.
Yeah. So what we, how to proceed, we could try to have another meeting, or I could send out to each of the department heads, you know, here's a list of what, you know, most people have in their county. So what you have, mark that you have it, and if I don't have something on that list, add it to the list, and what the expected life would be. That
And that's probably a good place to start because these departments' heads know what equipment they have, how long it lasts, ambulances, dump trucks, whatever it might be. So that's probably a good place to start. And then we can adjust it from there if need be.
Yeah.
You're all right with that, Sheila?
Yes, we also have the list that John Parmley was nice enough to list all the vehicles and the major equipments and stuff that the highway, EMS, sheriff, and everybody has, complete with serial numbers, date, ages, everything. That in itself needs to be uploaded into the capital. We have a policy, it was not completed, not everybody had their portions done. I don't think we'll get dinged for it in the audit, but we still had something in place that was required. Now we're just gonna update it and hopefully within the next, I would hope 3 months, we would have everything that is listed or needed to be listed. And that's one of Beth's taking over that as a primary job to be working on and getting things uploaded. But I'll make sure you get that list from Parmley, because if it has a motor in it, we got it.
Yeah, we need to make sure that we go through that and nothing's missed or a trailer's not on there and those type of things. I think in the past, we've run into some situations where things weren't titled to Owen County Commissioners. It was titled to the Sheriff Department or to this department, and that's what, those things can't happen.
And as far as this, how long the last policy, it would be, you know, police cars of this model generally last this time, ambulances generally last this time, dump trucks this time, backhoes this time, and that's all it is. We don't have to get real specific as John did, which we needed for other purposes, but that will help for me to get some categories in there.
Sounds good. So, yeah, if we can get that out to the departments, that would be great. People State Bank letter of credit, we have got that taken care of.
You're required to have a letter of credit regarding the landfill. People State Bank provides that. This is a temporary letter while they're finishing up, so we need to approve and sign this one today, and then they'll be issuing the new for the following year. You have to carry a $418,000 bond on the landfill, and the total, I believe, is $6,000.
And I've already signed it. Sheila had me come down to the office. There's room for all you two as well. We had to get this rolling.
This is
The
just-
bank kind of dropped the ball on it a little bit, and it lapsed, so we had to hurry up and take care of it. So,
I'll make-
go ahead, Joe.
I'll make a motion to sign the People's State Bank line of credit.
Got a motion by Joel. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Bob. All in favor? Aye.
On the new letter that'll be at the next meeting to approve it, they had asked for a copy of the landfill report and that, so I will get copies of that to them.
Do they need a copy of this AECom contract as well?
You guys had approved that at the last meeting, Daniel read it, we didn't have actual copies, so I need just a signature on that, but it was approved at the last meeting.
Right.
And they need a copy of that.
I was gonna say the
as well.
bank surely would because it got the value on it.
Yes.
So, okay. We'll get to that here in a minute. You guys ready to move on? All right, Diane, election security. Is that something you're interested in participating in? We've got a estimate from MSI Securities for about $7,600. That covers the month and the 2 Saturdays. Make sure I got my dates right here. April the 9th through May the 6th at noon. And then the Saturdays, I'm not sure which 2 Saturdays you use here at the courthouse.
The last 2 Saturdays.
The last 2 of the month of April? Okay. I assume one of those is gonna fall on May, yeah. Is that right?
Oh, I don't have the date, I don't have my phone in front of me to see the date. The 27th and the 4th.
Okay, thank you. That gets more accurate and I can give them that information.
But I did talk to Secretary of State's office, Scott,
Uh-huh,
and the security to bring people into the courthouse is not covered through this grant.
Okay, so you're not willing to support it then?
It's not covered.
Okay, so what are you gonna do with the money since you wanted a wall and that wasn't approved? Where does that money end up?
That money's going for replacing equipment
Okay,
for the election. The high-speed printers and the new default pads.
isn't that part of your Microsoft contract that you pay every couple of years?
Well, some of the stuff is covered by them, but my understanding, this is not covered by
Okay.
that.
Well, if that's the case, then the commissioners have kind of come to an agreement that we'll just run everything through the north door and let our in-house security take care of whatever happens.
So we're supply the security.
Yep. All right, moving on. Highway Department.
Good morning, Commissioners. I've got quite a list this morning that I have to bring before you.
Greg, before you get started, can I talk about my conversation with the governor's office and
think
Kevin
you should.
Sears,
Yes.
NDOT? Been working for some time with governor's office and got some response this Friday and again Monday. Spoke with Kevin Sears, which is over NDOT for the state of Indiana, and told him my displeasure with Owen County constantly getting beat up by the state of Indiana when it comes to our bridges and our roads. They closed 43 back in August and was supposed to have been opened in 90 days. We're here now in almost April and the deck's still not been poured. Once that bridge is done, they're moving south roughly a mile and a half to do another deck on another bridge. And they have destroyed a community crossings road that we did in 19 and I think the other half in 21. I think that's what
That
we
is correct.
kind of decided. And they're aware of that. And I told them, I said, we greatly appreciate the community crossings program for Owen County, but when the state gives us money and then turns around and tears up the road that they give us money for, they need to replace that. And so he had asked and has sent today if we would sign an unofficial detour of Little Flock Road during this second process or the complete process. They have come out and videoed the road, and Kevin Sears over NDOT has assured me that they will repave Little Flock Road from one end to the other in its entirety once this project's done. We're going to hold them to that. We're going to sign this unofficial route today for both of those projects. It will get sent back to the state. We'll let you take care of that on your end. And Dana's working with them as well. He's sent out we would like to have something in an email or writing to confirm this, but Kevin did tell me that we had to sign this unofficial route before we move forward. But I want to let those citizens out there know that they're not forgotten. This isn't a county issue, it's a state problem. And we dealt with this last summer, if everybody remembers, out on Highway 46, and what a mess we had there, right? So, again, I've worked diligently with these guys to.
Beaver Road to
Yeah,
Victoria.
yeah. And so anyway, I feel confident that they're going to take care of this problem for us.
Well, I feel like the preemptive conversations were the proper thing to do because the only amount of money as we received for the damage in the detours on Old Packersburg Road, Fish Creek Road was a total of $21,000.
Terrible.
And wouldn't patch 100 holes.
No.
Yeah.
So, I thank you all. Thank you, Gary. Your contact at the governor's office is great. I've spoken to him on numerous occasions.
We're gonna hold them accountable, we need to, so. With that being said, Greg, I'll let you continue.
Great. Stockstill Road was one I have off my list now, thank you. Jones Road project with the fenders has been completed and inspected. They will be moving out today. We are up there working and replacing culverts now as we speak. We did have a breakdown. Fenders was in the area, so I had them go ahead and take a culvert out. We lost the hammer on our excavator. It's something we could rebuild, but it wasn't something I could rebuild right then. Work continues on Freeman Road. I'm hoping, and I'm gonna say hoping, that the project on the east side of the road will be completed by Friday. Then we will work on the west side of the road on what is actually the location known as Freeman Hill, and then we will continue ditching that road until complete.
With that being said, Greg, I'll jump in here. I know I'm bad about that, but we've had a lot of compliments on the work you guys are doing out there, and I want to make you aware of that.
Thank
So,
you.
Yeah, and I go by it every day, and everybody's complimenting it's looking very, very good, and I think it is. Travis handled well.
Thank you. You all know that we've scheduled to do some roads to be reclaimed. The road reclaimer arrives Friday. It will be delivered directly to Oberholzer Road. Heavy work will start there on Monday. The reclaimer is an extremely expensive piece of equipment, Commissioners. I intend to move it immediately to Stobbsville Road. We're going to try to get everything reclaimed in 2 weeks. That being said, y'all need to know that isn't all hands on deck. When the reclaimer's moving, I'll need every dump truck that I have. I need the road graders, the rollers, so in that 2-week period, other than ditching, most everything stops to get that done. But we have to build these road bases to have good paved roads.
it's a must.
We will be using calcium chloride this year as stabilization instead of an asphalt emulsion. We're going to save ourselves approximately $1.79 a gallon in using that as stabilization, and those arrangements have been made with our vendor, Great Lakes Calcium.
Do we have a storage tank for that, or are they providing us?
They will provide that by frac tank, and it will be delivered to us at our location.
Very good.
We'll get that information out on Facebook and the county website to let citizens know that that work is going to begin.
Greg, were we renting a distribution truck, or were you having to build a boom for the other truck? And
Great Lakes is going to provide that for us. As part of the service, to kind of explain, we were going to use calcium chloride as dust control this year. There is a problem with distribution. Looks like the only calcium chloride we may get is for our stabilization this year. So they have decided to go ahead and provide us with the truck to do it with.
I've already had citizens call me about dust control, and I've mentioned chloride, calcium chloride is an alternative, so.
I did speak with our representative, and they are working to other areas to get the calcium chloride from other locations, but I don't know that that's going to transpire, so we may have to go back to using an asphalt emulsion in regard to that. The commissioners all know that we have a distributor truck on order. It takes the distributor truck to put that down.
Right.
And I will not have that for this season, as you all know. So we're going to try again to put the old truck back together. But the gentleman's that tank's 25 years old. Soon to be 26 years old. The county bought that machine new. It's been a good machine, but it is way past its life expectancy.
Yeah, it's like a 98 or something in the grade,
Yes.
99. So gentlemen, he's telling us be prepared for a lot of phone calls dealing with dust control, and we have really no way to apply it this year. He was being nice to us.
we'll do our best to get it accomplished.
And we know you will, and we appreciate
I
it.
have actually been speaking with Asphalt Solutions on a possibility of the rental of a distributor truck. That may come available.
And we talked about that because of our cold mix, we're gonna have to have that anyway. So I know we've got it dedicated for those particular
That
projects.
is correct. I have the truck secured for the period of time when I'm laying cold mix, but not for the period of time while I am going to need to do dust
Right.
control, so I'm trying now to work
Well, that's a
through that.
commitment all summer long, and that's something that we probably can't afford to do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And maybe we can get some rain this year.
there we go.
Commissioners, I have confirmed the Pug Mill. It will be here the second week in May. And when I say here, it will be at the Rogers plant in Bloomington to make 10,000 tons of cold mix. Then we will move to the Cloverdale 243 quarry and make 5,000 ton of cold mix. The reason being, splitting between the two quarries is clearly logistics. The roadways out at Jefferson Township that have been approved to be done, it's just better, we saved a lot of miles coming out of the Cloverdale plant because we come down I-70 to 59 through Clay City. There was an accident over the weekend on Denmark Road, Commissioners. There has been a box culvert damaged. We have all the information through the Sheriff's Department, and that will be turned over to insurance. We're going to have to go ahead and do the repairs probably prior to that getting done. Chad is there now, and it advised me that we're going to need to put the guardrail back up.
Yes, just make sure we get John Parley and Dana involved in that so we get our restitution back.
Nextly, Commissioners, I've spoken with Suzanne this morning. We had been speaking about the bus barn going in on Flatwoods Road, and we had talked about the size of driveway they needed, the different permits through DNR. Anyway, she's dealt with them mostly, but we had talked about it. I was contacted by a citizen last evening, and I'll just go ahead and provide his name because he's unable to be here today, but Mr. Roger Simpson. He's concerned about the width of that roadway now and the bus barn being there and the amount of school bus traffic that will increase on that roadway. Commissioners, that road is 18 feet wide. It really doesn't accommodate school buses that well. We just spoke about it this morning, but there probably needs to be some kind of solution among all out there.
Greg, I'm going to interject here on that a little bit. We paved Walden Road and Hartscrabble Road to bring those buses out the backside to 43 to the stoplight.
Correct.
The previous transportation director abided by that, followed that, got it down to where there was roughly 2 to 3 buses coming up to that flashing light. If the school puts a bus barn out there, we're going to have a tremendous amount of traffic and buses sitting at that flashing light. That is a traffic hazard already. I personally am not in favor of that area for this. That's just my personal opinion. I don't know how you guys feel about it. The road is not wide enough. We did do these steps to get those buses out the backside to bring them to the stoplight at 43, and I felt that worked very well. I watched it happen, day after day, and it seemed to be doing okay, and as times went on, I see that we're right back to buses piled up there at the light, flashing light.
Well, I just wanted to bring it to your attention. The citizens brought it to mind, and Suzanne and I have been speaking about bus barn entrances to the county roadway and requirements there. So we both felt that it should be brought before the board this morning, and you forewarned.
And we appreciate that, and I think maybe at some point, the school system needs to come here and have a discussion with the planning commission or with the commissioners themselves to deal with this, because I feel it's a safety issue. We have a lot of parents that go down that road and drop their kids off, so they're involved in that mess as well. It's quite an event out there in the mornings for people that go out through there.
So this will include every bus that they have in their fleet. So every bus would go out there and be parked in the evenings. They would construct I haven't gotten the final plans of how big the actual bus barn will be. But the parking lot will be big in the back, and then they'll have a full parking lot in front of it as well for the employees to park into.
This all
I
pays
had a
areas.
lot of discussions with them about the driveway because they did not want to make it big enough for two buses to sit. And so,
It's gotta be big enough to turn one in and turn one out.
right, and we had a lot of discussion about that. But, yeah, and Greg and I had multiple discussions on the issue as well. And so, I mean, if you want to have a meeting or I contact them and have them come to a meeting.
I think we need to have a discussion on it, and I agree with Greg, an 18-foot wide road to put this type of facility out there. We're talking about every bus that the corporation has now running in and out on a county road. They presently use the state highway into their entrance, correct?
Yes.
Using the state highway entrance versus a county road entrance is a big difference.
Well, we had discussed with just the driveway alone had to be a minimum of 40 feet wide to get for one bus to be turning in and one bus to be setting out. Because a bus takes about 25 feet to make the curve.
I definitely think it needs more discussion, don't you, gentlemen?
Absolutely.
Sounds like
Well, Commissioners, just a little information, at the planning board, the planning commission asked me to do a traffic study on Concord Road. I can give you one number exactly, I can't give you the other. I don't have the paperwork in front of me, but the opposite side of that intersection, I remember this number because it was a huge number. In a 14-day period, there was 13,068 cars that turned at the intersection and onto Concord Road. Now, by the time you got to Mount Carmel, it had dropped down to right at 8,000. So the traffic is going into everything.
Golf
right there.
course out there, the housing additions, those type of things, yeah. But that's.
Now, I will note when I say this, Commissioners, I have full confidence in both counters, but I used a new counter at one end, which is a laser counter, and a pressure counter at the other, but they all meet manufacturer specs and are certified, so there is no difference other than there was just two different types of counters used.
That's a lot of vehicles.
So I think we need to do the same thing on the opposite side of the road now.
Yeah. I would suggest that we do that sooner than later,
Yes.
as in this week, if you can
We
get it
will
out there.
We will get it deployed this week. We'll do a 14-day study.
Yeah,
yeah, people out in that area screaming.
yeah. It's gonna be pretty congested, so.
So do you want me to reach out to them and ask if they can come to the next commissioner?
Either that or we need to, can we schedule that as a administrative meeting, Dana?
No, but if there's just one commissioner meets with them and then.
I don't wanna do that. I think all three of us need to be there so.
So we could do a work session then.
Wanna do that?
Yeah, we're gonna have to.
Make that contact and we'll get a scheduled work session yeah, with the school. And once you have that, then get with Sheila and we'll get a advertisement on it. And Greg, we'll need you there as well on that.
It can either be held here or be held in the school.
Yeah, whichever's convenient.
Okay, I will let you all know, I know Commissioner Burton knows, but the pickup that was ordered is in a Curry Buick. It will be delivered to the highway department tomorrow. Commissioners, as we continue to work on the roads that have been picked for community crossing, I have I sent another request out to local contractors to replace the culvert on Pottersville. It's the box culvert there between the new water company and John Dunning's. I received, and they're not bids, they're quotes because of the price that I believe it will be. I have two that had come into the highway department, so I would ask that I be able to turn those over to Dana and be read.
You said this is a box culvert?
Yes.
They're gonna widen it out right there.
Yes.
Well, that'd be a blessing.
Does that remove a couple of concrete?
I think there's a couple of abutments there.
Yeah,
isn't there?
yeah, that'd be good.
Okay, Du Bois Excavating LLC, bids a total of $11,500. They will provide the following: saw cutting the blacktop, demolition of concrete structure, installation of new culvert and guardrail, with the highway department providing all trucking, culvert pipe, flowable fill, stone, concrete, riprap, guardrail, and other materials. I assume that was the...
That was our request, yes.
The second is from Fender Excavating, and their bid for wreck out the concrete structure and install new flat bottom culvert at $15,000. Both bids were in sealed envelopes, and that's before you, 15,000 for Fender and 11,500 for Joyce.
I've got a question. Craig, are you specing a box culvert or a flat bottom culvert?
It's actually going to be an arch is what it is. It's replacing a box culvert.
Okay, okay. And so the materials are like for like?
Yes,
Okay.
we met with both contractors there and it made the explanation. Commissioners, we've worked with both of these contractors before. Both of them have done good work. I would just ask that you accept the cheapest quote.
And we have, and the last time that we used the lower bidder on this one, we had no issues, no problems, and Greg was satisfied. So I'm going to ask for a motion to approve. The lowest bidder in this case would be Du Bois Excavating. Do I hear a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve Du Bois Excavating at $11,500.
I have a motion by Joel. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Bob. All in favor? Aye.
Thank you, Commissioners. Last, before I read roads into the inventory, Commissioners, Commissioner Lowe contacted me in regard to a problem after we put gravel down at the coroner's office and were preparing to lay asphalt. We pulled the material out, put 3 inches of asphalt in, Commissioners, and anyway, there was some issues of getting in and out. We put stone down, and now there's a flooding issue. I went down there and looked, watched the water. There's a lot of water coming off the roofs in the area. I think it's causing a lot of the problem. And because this has just occurred and getting a look at it, Commissioners, I am going to suggest that the coroner's office we not lay asphalt. I think we just should put in a small concrete apron that would accommodate getting in and out with the van and their door. The highway department could do this. I could put a quote together, but I do believe if we laid a concrete apron there, it would be cheaper than the asphalt, actually.
Well, this is something we went back to last year. It's kind of our plan to do the parking lot and pave that stretch there in front of that. And Stan called me here a couple of weeks ago and sent me some pictures, and there was a large lake in front of the place.
I forwarded the pictures as well to Superintendent Melton.
Yeah. So I had Greg go down there and put some 11s in just so they could roll it in and out, and Shelby called me the next day and said it was better, but still trying to drag it through the gravel. It's better than water, I guess, but yeah, I agree. Probably going concrete is the better avenue.
And we would follow the building inspecting code and all, and I still believe it could be done cheaper than if we put asphalt in.
Yeah, as long as there's enough area there to, of course, the alleyway's gravel, so we'd have to make sure that it's far enough for the length of the cot and those type of things,
Correct.
so, yep. I have no
Appropriate
issue.
location for the van, and to be able to get in and out of the van, and to get the cot in and out. As far as the entire parking area, I would disagree. The intentions are that she not be in that building forever. The
Well, I don't
coroner's
think anybody's at, as far as I'm concerned, I've talked to the coroner. Early on, I touched base with the, I think he's deputy chief coroner, I'm not sure. They're just trying to make things better.
Sure.
And I think we could accommodate that with an apron. I think everyone would be
I agree.
better suited to do that than lay an asphalt parking lot there.
I agree 100%. We spoke about it, and I agree 100%.
And this would catch the entry, I'm talking about something that would catch the entry door, length of the van, so they can move in and out.
And gentlemen, I'm gonna recommend that we pay this out of cube cap. It's not a highway expense. It is a building expense. So whatever you have involved into that, just make sure that those receipts come into the auditor's office with the cube cap.
I'll make that motion if you'd like.
That'd be great.
I'd like to make a motion that the concrete apron in front of the coroner's building be paid out of cube cap.
And I'll second that. All in favor?
Only thing-
Commissioners, I probably need a motion in regard to my guys doing the work because we were approved to do asphalt. I'm actually asking you to change that to concrete, so does there need to be a motion
I'll
that
make
says?
that,
We can do that.
I'll make a motion that employees of the highway department be allowed to do concrete work instead of asphalt work.
And I'll second that. Got a motion by Joel, seconded by myself. All in favor? Aye.
Thank you, Commissioners. I'll draw up a set of plans and get it to, I guess, Commissioner Lowe, Commissioner Burton is my liaison, you're the
Yeah.
coroners, and get, you can look at the plans and we'll proceed. I'll try to get that in the works.
Yeah, there's a lot of gas and water lines in there too. Need to
Oh,
get
yeah,
them.
we've dug there, so quite a bit. Commissioners, I'm also gonna ask, before I read this, I'm gonna, road inventory again, I would like to post on the county website, the only thing that we have posted is, our yearly, road plan. Commissioners, there are road plans that I have to submit to NDOT that are 5-year plans. I have a 25-year plan and I have a 35-year plan. I think there's misinformation out there right now. And I would like to be able to post those, and also in regard to the road inventory. It's not something that I typically post, but I would like for the public to be able to see what the highway department actually does. So I'm asking your permission to post those on the website.
I agree totally with that, Greg. We often, as commissioners, hear of what the county highway department isn't doing, opposed to what they do. If I had my druthers, you would post your daily work, performance, daily. We receive a copy as commissioners. It's not top secret information. Now, whether or not the fellow two commissioners want to go that far, I have no issue with posting the daily workload. And again, it gets tiresome when you hear everybody out there complaining about what's not getting done when they don't take note of what has been done over the last several years. And I spoke with you this morning concerning this, and I have the utmost respect for our department.
Thank you.
this county in the last 4, 5, 6, 7 years has awesomely grown. Our roads are in awesome condition, and anybody that says otherwise, they just don't get out and look around apparently. So my suggestion would be, with other two commissioners' blessings, is that information be noted daily.
Well,
Noted.
as the highway superintendent, I will say this, I cannot agree with you on one part. The roads aren't in awesome condition. We have roads in deplorable condition, and those have to be addressed. But we have been working on those diligently with community crossing,
And I stand
with commissioner and council approval. We have been working on those with ARPA funds. We have been able, because that has freed up some money, we've been able to put our local money into roads. But when,
Bridges.
and bridges, you know, and since ARPA, between the commissioners and the council, in the last 3 years, we've built 6 bridges, gentlemen, that were fracture critical.
We're going in the right direction.
So
We're just gonna be a
the
shortfall of
information
funds.
just needs to be available, and the public needs to know what the highway department does and the 2 boards do.
I have no problem with it.
And
Yeah.
I will make a statement, I will stand corrected. I didn't mean that Owen County in its entirety, the roads are terrific. The current situation, the roads that have been done are terrific, and the work progresses. So I stand corrected on that. And, but if, you know, if people want to know, then we should let them know what's going on.
Yeah, I have no problem with that either.
And I really believe part of the problem, gentlemen, is an absence of the newspaper. Sheila runs into that every day with her stuff. But when there was a local newspaper, we gave them reports, and it was reported as to what we were doing, and the people saw it. They saw, you know, our annuals, our long-term reports, and what we were doing this week, and we don't have that any longer.
Right. We've got 2 avenues that we can use, and I think you're using them. I just want to make sure that we're careful on how we use them. We have the county website, which I suggest we post everything to the county website. I know you also have a county Facebook page. I just don't want to get into a situation where we're back and forth on a Facebook page.
No
Let's post our information on there and leave it at that.
Yeah.
Discussions, I think that opens up whole new issues.
Well,
I don't know how you gentlemen feel about
No,
that.
I agree, because we know weekly plans change.
Right.
How many times have any one of us gotten a call and say, I'm not gonna be, I've gotta do this now. But the overall scope of the work for a week, for a month, should be posted, with the exception to impending circumstances, you know, because we all know things don't work out exactly as they should, so. I agree 100%. I think it should be posted and entirely left up to the highway department to implement that.
Right. No, I'm fine with that. Also here in my hand, I've been to several different classes, through commissioner school, road school, AIC training, and I asked Greg sometime back, matter of fact, I think it was the end of the year when we come back from the commissioners conference, I sat through a NDOT training and asked Greg to put together a plan based on the funding that we have. And it's a 24-year road plan. We're currently estimated 639 miles. We're in the process of working on that. There's been some questions about certification. County needs to certify their roads. That process was implemented late '22, didn't take effect until 2023.
That's correct.
I think we now have every township has been, ran every stinking mile in this county, dirt path, whatever it may be. And those are in the process of getting recertified. I think we're down to 4 or 5 townships left.
After today, commissioners, I intend to read in 2 townships if you have time, and after that's done, I have 2 left.
Okay. That process has been in the works for the whole year of 2023. It is a long process. All those have to be certified and then brought to the commissioners. Once that's done, they go back to an additional form. That goes to the state of Indiana. They have to certify these and change all of our mileage, and that will take a process in itself once it gets to the state level.
And this all has to be done certified to get our community crossing program.
It's part
Well,
of it.
that's how it's certified for community crossing, but that's also how we get our funding.
Exactly.
Commissioners are aware, since, maybe not two of you, but one of you since 2019, I have told this board of commissioners that we are taking care of over 700-mile roads and we're being paid for 639.
Yeah. So that process has been in effect for over a year. There's some misconception that that's not happening or it needs to happen, and it's already in the process and almost completed. It's just the paperwork that goes with it at the state through the county. There's certain forms that have to be filled out. There's a process you have to go through. Again, people don't understand everything that goes on. But going back to this form, sitting in that class, and Greg has the opportunity with the program he has to tell us how our funding's doing and what it's going to require to maintain what we have. For a 24-year plan, maintaining the roads that we have, and it's from paving, chip and seal, resurfacing, pothole repair, that cost is $3,614,000 per year. We are $1,040,000 short to make that happen. And it's not just this county, it's every county in the state of Indiana. So I don't want anybody to think that I'm just saying poor old Owen County. I am saying that because we need those funds. But sitting in that meeting, there were several other counties that are in the same boat we are.
It goes back to our state legislature.
And it does.
The shift was made to NDOT, and the shift needs to come back to the counties.
Yes.
Community crossing was the legislature's gesture. Here's $1 million or, $1.5 million, you match some money, but our funds were taken away.
So I would suggest that we let Greg post this as well.
Absolutely.
It shows the shortfall of annual funds that's coming in, and there's no way in a 24-year cycle to go back and do all these roads again to put them back where they need, or $1 million a year short. And I'll quit talking about that, but thank you for that report. It's very helpful.
Okay, commissioners, I'm gonna, if I may, I'll start reading in some road inventory. I'll try to be quick.
Hold on a second, Greg.
Yes. Can we stop you just real quick? We got to get Sherry out of here.
Go ahead.
And if you don't care, Greg,
No, I'm fine.
Joe brought up a good point. We only have one person
Sorry to
named in
interrupt, Greg.
911. And for the audience, I would like to introduce Sherry Anderson, our new 911 coordinator. Let's give her a round of applause. She's doing us a great job so far. Glad to have her. Sherry, if you want to jump in real quick, we'll cut Greg off here.
Yeah, I just wanted to give you guys a quick update on the Hyper Reach program that Kathleen started and I'm gathering was approved last summer, the contract.
Yep.
I found the contract on my desk yesterday, didn't know anything about it, didn't know what the status was, so I made phone calls to the company. We're good to go, we're good to roll it out. My plan is to have it rolling in a week. And I'm gonna need help from the community, from the commissioners. Once we start posting on social media about it, I need y'all to share it. Just let's get as many people to sign up before April 8th as we can. Normally it takes quite a bit of time to get something like this going, but I think if we have enough community support to get people to sign up with their cell phones, their email addresses, their landline phones, however they want to be notified, this mass notification system will definitely benefit us in the future going forward. It's got some great features. I know you are all well aware of the features that it has. I'm sure Kathleen updated you all. I'm going to be attending some training, and I'm going to include the 911 board in that training so that we're all trained to be able to send these emergency notifications. And they could be something like an amber alert and notify everyone in the county of a silver alert, or a flooding situation, And then the weather alerts from the National Weather Service, they go out automatically. They don't need one of us to actually send the alert. A tornado warning will go directly to everybody that signed up for this mass notification system. just an automatic notification. So that's great. That's gonna give people a heads up, definitely, when something like that's coming down.
Now we're looking forward to get it up and running.
Yeah, so look in the next week. Part of what we paid for in our package is a marketing package, and I have a meeting with that person on Tuesday. So as soon as she gives me all the materials, they're pre-designed social media posts and flyers and all that, so we'll be good to go to just encourage people to sign up before April 8th. New hires, I've got 4 new hires, 3
Great.
full-time, 1 part-time. One's already started, I have 2 starting Monday, and then 1 in a couple weeks. We're getting everything ready for April 8th. I'll have 4 people on duty, 24 hours that period. I'm putting in a sleeping room between my office and the kitchen. It'll have a set of bunk beds in there. We already have a shower facility, we already have a kitchen. I want a place that if my dispatchers get stuck there, they can get some adequate rest and be able to just go back to work.
Outstanding.
So that'll be implemented in the next week. We'll make that happen.
You've got more accomplished in a few days than we've been able to do in 3 months, so we appreciate
It's the
it.
morning of day 3. I created a new logo for the dispatch center, and y'all are looking at it. The current logo is currently used by Vigo County Dispatch. We can't have that.
No. I
So-
like this.
I designed a new logo. It clearly shows the 4 departments that we dispatch for, which I love. I love that fact. You know, we're equal across the board, and I wanted all of them 4 represented there. The dispatchers are gonna be required in the future to wear a polo shirt while on duty, a black polo. They're first responders. Most first responders wear uniforms, and I want them to look professional. So that's coming in as soon as I can get those ordered. And I think that's all I had.
Outstanding.
That's plenty.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Appreciate everything you're doing.
Fellow
Joe, you got
commissioners, I
anything?
don't have a problem with this logo. I talked to Sherry about it. I think we should vote to accept this as the logo for the Owen County 911.
Is that your motion?
That's my motion.
Second.
Seconded by Bob. All in favor?
Aye.
Great, thank you
Thanks,
so
Sherry.
much.
Have a great day.
Thank you.
All right, Greg. Sorry about that.
Okay, we're gonna start Montgomery Township Commissioners. Server Road will have an addition of .23 miles. Bandy Road stays the same. Santa Fe Drive will have a addition of .6 miles. Rattlesnake Road stays the same. Clark Road stays the same. The second section of Clark Road stays the same. County Road West, 610 North, which is a small roadway off of Hale Hill that doesn't possess a name but still has a road number, has an addition of .01 miles. Keeler Road stays the same. There's a section of Keeler Road. Keeler Road's in 2 sections that will be combined, but it will add another .83 miles together. Wesley Chapel stays the same. Old Cuba Road adds .1 miles. Section 2 of Old Cuba stays the same, but will be certified as one road. Cuba Road stays the same. Minnick Road stays the same. Locust Lake the same. Hudson Hill the same. Section 2 of Hudson Hill stays the same, but will be certified as one road altogether. Kirby Road the same. Weaver Road will add .05. Leonard Road, we will deduct .03. Commissioners, that is Montgomery Township.
Just quick ballpark, that's a little over 4 miles there, addition.
That's an intersection, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, Commissioners, the next is Jackson. Jackson Road and, or Jackson Township. There is going to be some deduction in Jackson Township. A lot of it is going to do with the construction of the Dollar General store. Whenever it was done, the old highway was part of the county road. Anyway, because of the Dollar General, that is all gone now, so that needs to be removed from the inventory. Okay, starting with Job Road, there will be an addition of .02. What is referred to as Richard Street, which is part of the area that I spoke about, would be a reduction of .05. The portion of what would have been Job Road in the old highway, where the Dollar General is located now, is a reduction of .06. And then a deduction in the same location, what was Old State Road 42, referred to as Job Road, will be a deduction of .11 miles. Commissioners, if you wish to view it, I have a map overlay of all the.
I'm well aware of it myself. It's quite a mess up there, you know.
County Road 600 will have no change. Oak Grove Church Road will have no change. England Road will have no change. Upper Cliff Road will have an addition of .1. Lower Cliff Road, no change. There are 2 sections that will be certified as one road, but the second part has no change. Barnes Road has an addition of .6 miles. Fertig Road, no change. West Dam Road, no change. Buffalo Road, no change. Rooksbury Road will have an addition of .44 miles. Oak Road will have an addition of .13 miles. Wasatch Lake Road has no change. It's actually in 2 sections. It'll be certified as one. The second part and third part have no change. Morgan Road has a addition of .1. Uncle Ed's Cabin, no change. No change to Bordick. An addition of .06 to the dead end part of Uncle Ed's Cabin. Brubeck Road, no change. Harris Road, an addition of .4. Pump Station Road, no change. There'll be a second and third part of Pump Station. The second part has no change. The third part has an addition of .2 miles. They will be certified all as one road. Franks Hill, no change. Sassafras Ridge Road, no change. There's a section of the roadway that is actually certified under two road names. It's going to be certified as pump station with an addition of .64 to the pump station, and there will be .64 taken from Franks Hill. Cunot Cataract Road has a change of .2. North Cataract Road, no change. Sand Hill Road, no change. Lackey Road, there will be an addition of .11. LeSueur Road, no change. Asher Road, a positive .1. Flowing Wells Road, no change. Owl Hollow Road, no change. Lakeside Court, an addition of .1. Lakeside Drive, no change. Midden Drive, a positive of .4. Second part, Twin Lakes Drive, no change. Cataract Highland Loop, no change. There's a second part of Cataract Highland Loop, Commissioners, and it will be certified together. It will have no change. Cataract Quartz Drive, no change. Cataract Hill Drive, no change. Pecan Road, an addition of .27. Acorn Road, no change. And Hickory Nut Road has an addition of .73 miles.
Greg, is that the last one you just read there? We adopted a road up there last year. Is that it?
That is correct.
That's what I thought, yeah.
And Dallas Road will have an addition of .22 miles. Just a little explanation real quick, Commissioners. These have to be read into the minutes in order for me to recertify the roads, and since did them all this year, it takes a lot of time in the meetings, but 2 more to go and we'll be done.
Thank you, Greg. And we're aware that it needs to be done properly, so we appreciate that. Hopefully everybody's still awake.
Dana has a surplus ordinance, so prepared. I've looked at it. It looks good for us to get rid of some surplus equipment.
Go ahead, Dana.
Okay, this would be ordinance number 2024-007. It is an ordinance declaring certain personal property as surplus for the Owen County Highway Department. Given the provisions of Indiana Code 5-22-22, if either one single item or all items collectively is more than $5,000, there is a notice requirement. The personal property to be sold includes number one, 2004 International dump truck with snowplow, and 2004 International dump truck with snowplow. Both of those are models 7,300. There is a 2006 GMC Sierra 1500 4x4, a Roscoe chip spreader, model SPRHH, a 2009 Ford F350 4x4, and a 2006 Ford F50 4x4 dump truck. In the ordinance, all the model serial numbers or VIN numbers are in there. That's section 1. Section 2 would be pursuant to Indiana Code 5-22-22-4.5. The purchasing agency may sell surplus property using an internet auction site that satisfies both of the following. 1, the site is approved by the Office of Technology, which GovDeals has been. And 2, the site is linked to the electronic gateway administered by the Office of Technology, which GovDeals does. The purchasing agency's posting of the sale on the internet auction site must include a detailed description of the surplus property to be sold. The purchasing agency may pay the cost of conducting the auction on the internet site as required by the person maintaining the auction site. So Section 3, pursuant to Indiana Code 5-22-22-11A, notice of this sale must be given by publication of the time, place, and terms of the sale as provided in Indiana Code 5-3-1 in the county where the property is located. The publication shall be made at least 15 days before the date of the sale. And it's one publication, there's not two, but it's 15 days before the date. So once the publication time has been calculated, they forward GovDeals on the date to make it go after. So this ordinance will be in full force and effect immediately upon adoption and publication as required.
Thank you, Danny. Greg, and we've spoke on this equipment. Once this sale is conducted, these funds will go back into your equipment fund line. Is that correct?
That would be my request. It would go in cash balance, and then I would like it to go back into the equipment fund line, but I would need to go to council and ask them to do that.
Well, we had a truck go down and we kind of finagled around to where we could make that happen, but it needs to go back into there to cover future equipment. So, gentlemen, do I hear a motion to approve ordinance 2024-007 surplus for the Owen County Highway Department?
I'll make that motion, we approve 2024-007.
Have a motion by Bob, do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Joel, all in favor? Aye. 3-0, Sheila.
Thank you, Commissioners. And then lastly, I know the Commission was adamant on when we switched to 10-hour days to coincide with the school. And there is, I believe, an ordinance, or at least a directive that says that during the work that needs to be done with the pug mill, the quarries, which would be the last 2 weeks of May, I would ask that the Commission reconsider allowing us to start a little early with the 10-hour days, because we're going to have the travel time to get to work and start those projects. And it's not going to hinder the bus traffic at all, because we're doing that work off-site.
Pull that ordinance back up. I think that's the second week of May is when that goes into effect, isn't it?
If I remember
Oh, it was
correctly,
the last week of May.
if I remember correctly, we all agreed, although it was north, that it went under the discretion of the highway superintendent's needs, that we would alter that. If I'm wrong, correct me, but I thought that we were gonna kind of work it that way.
That part I don't remember, Joel. I just remember it was a week after school let out, the week before it started.
I'm actually asking, under the circumstances with the work going on with the pug mill, to start, it's supposed to start a week after school. I'm actually asking to start it 3 weeks early.
So basically the 1st of May. The school doesn't go into 2 weeks or something like
Well,
that.
at the end of the week, so we
Anybody know when
really
school's
wouldn't
over?
start till after Memorial Day weekend. So we would start that following week going to 10 hours, and I'm asking to start the third week in May, I guess, second week, excuse me.
I don't see a problem with that. That's,
I'll make that motion.
okay. Got a motion by Bob to start the second week of May. Is that gonna get you covered?
It will.
Okay.
I'll second.
And that is the motion being 10-hour work days starting 2 weeks prior to the ordinance agreed.
And I would correspond that with the correct payroll.
Okay.
Commissioners, I don't believe that you set any other daily schedules for any other departments. So therefore, if you choose to, you could leave it up to the superintendent to call in his workers in a time frame that is suitable for the work that needs to be done for that day. So that's a choice that you have.
Okay. We still take it under a vote here to let him do that, correct?
You don't have to.
Don't have to?
On it. It's an administrative function of what time you show up, what time you clock in and out.
I agree with Bob. Let's just make sure that we've got a time frame so it doesn't start next week. Not saying that you're gonna do that, but, yeah, Bob made the motion for the second week of May. Joel seconded it, and all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Commissioner.
And Greg, if you look at that and need to adjust it some, just let us
The
know.
only thing I'll need to do is make sure it corresponds with the payroll. I don't want to foul that up.
And, yeah, make sure that it works with your pub mill and all that kind of stuff.
Correct.
Yeah. Thank you. All right, we are down to, if I can find my agenda here, elected officials. Any department heads, or let me, department heads first? Chris, you got any?
Dusty's office still has the war elm, like we should have taken it a while ago, I'm sorry, so.
Yeah, no, you're right. He did tell me about this, his Warrell Corporation agreement. Dana, have you looked over this?
I haven't, he has indicated that it is the same agreement that they have been using for a number of years.
It is.
This has been a vendor that they've used for a number of years. He didn't notice any changes in it. I would assume that Mr. Bryan had looked at it at one time or another in the last few years, so I would not be concerned about.
Okay, and it is the same company, and Dusty did call me on this, so, thank you, Sheila, for grabbing that. With that being said, it requires one signature. Do I hear a motion to approve,
Gary
the
Bird signed.
Warrell Corporation, agreement?
I'll make that motion.
A motion by Bob, do I hear a second?
Second.
Seconded by Joel, all in favor? Aye. All right, Chris, do you have anything?
Just an update on the remount ambulance should be back tomorrow or Friday, is what they told me. So that'll be back in service, or ready to be put in service. The one that we were hoping to get by the end of this month, so we could get the power load system put in it. The chassis didn't come in from Chevrolet, so they're looking now at July before that one will be here. Preparations for the 8th of April, we're gonna have, I don't know if I brought you guys up to speed on that, we're gonna have all the ambulances that we have running. Let's just leave it that way. We're gonna have all of those that are running staffed. We're gonna have 3 side-by-side just scooting around Spencer as first aid units. We're going to spread our ambulances out across the county. If we have 5 running, we'll have 2 in Spencer, and then probably 1 in Freedom, 1 in Patricksburg, and 1 up around Mill Grove. So that's kind of our plans. And we had, it's actually our newest ambulance went down this last week with the harmonic balancer, broke again. That was fixed under warranty, and we're gonna run it for 2 weeks and take it back to them, have them inspect that harmonic balancer again. There's no indication of why that has broken now 2 times, but we're just gonna keep an eye on it, try to inspect it every once in a while and see if it's cracking or just what's going on with it. There's no additional drag from the accessories on the front of the engine. There's no vibration. I was concerned because we just put a transmission in that maybe something was out of balance on the backside of the crank as far as like the torque converter or something. There's no notable vibration going down the road or sitting still at any RPM, so we're kind of baffled on why it's cracking. So
And you and I both asked those questions amongst ourselves, what's causing it, and done some research on it. This vehicle has 200,000 miles on it,
It's
correct?
got over 200,000. Without looking up, if I was guessing, I would say 215 to 225 in that area. So it just drives home the need for rotating these ambulances every, getting rid of one and buying one every year.
Yeah.
That had us keeping them for 5 years, and that was the original plan. But due to some budget issues, we went about 5 years without getting one. Now we're starting to reap
Well, another issue with that, Chris, is your call volume's gone up.
has gone up.
And so that increases additional miles in that 5-year period, so, yeah.
So that's kind of where we're at right now, what we're planning on doing for the 8th, and just bringing you up to speed on the new ones coming in.
Appreciate it very much. Thank you.
I want to thank Chris for his help. Sherry's, he's been helping the LBO advisory board somewhere along the way, but they put in a lot of time trying to help her get moving forward with budgets and daily stuff, and he's put in a lot of effort.
We appreciate that. Chris, can I ask you a quick question? And Susan might be able to answer some of this too. As we get closer to the 8th, do we have a idea of our campground capacity? Are we full? Is the fairgrounds full? Are our hotels, are they full? Is the canyon? I'm just curious, do we have any reports on? Yeah, the state
Yeah,
park, is the Canyon Inn sold out?
It's been my understanding that the 2 hotels in the county have been sold out for over a year. Campgrounds, we're trying to get a feel for that as far as how they are sold out or not. I defer to Suzanne. I think you take care of the fairgrounds, don't you?
Right, the fair has not had anyone.
No reservations.
One person has contacted the fair about it, but they haven't returned any contract or anything. Billy Williams, who was just here, he actually is having camping on his property, and I guess he's already filled up. The campground at Home Place, they closed, they didn't allow anyone outside of the people they already had. They wanted to keep it private. And some of the other campgrounds, yeah, they've filled up, but and then there's a few private property owners that have allowed multiple campers, I believe, but the fair, people wanted hotel rooms more than they wanted to sleep in a
Camp, right. I'm just trying to get an idea, as we're responsible sitting up here for a lot of these emergency services, it's good to have an idea of what we're expecting.
Just know that the emergency services are preparing for the worst and hoping for the best. We, as a county, in my opinion, don't have an infrastructure for a huge gathering. And you can look at that a couple different ways. We don't have hotels. We do have the camping sites and such stuff as that. We've also got a lot of state ground. We think maybe that's going to play a little bit. The forest, the state park. We've got Greens Bluff. We've got a bunch of natural resource land that we think may be.
Cataract area is going to be huge, I'm sure, yeah.
Yeah, so we just don't know what's going to happen. We're being told to anticipate 12 to 24,000 additional people. Our county population is only 24,000, so we could easily double the population. Also, how many of the people from Bloomington that have hotel rooms are going to say, I want out and away from the city lights, and I want to get into the country where there are no city lights, where there's maybe an occasional dusk to dawn light. So how many of those people are gonna try to come over here? We just don't know. That's why we're preparing for a big group of people, but, hoping that it's not horrible. How's that?
We can hope for the best, that's right.
Yeah.
I've been told that Monroe County's anticipating 350,000 or 55,000 people. I've been told that the Ivy football stadium is already sold out. So-
We've got big concerts going on.
Exactly. So all that traffic, some of that traffic's gonna flow through here regardless.
Yeah, how many people are gonna take 46 back through and try to get to 70 because they can't go up 69 to 70?
Exactly. Or 231 because it's gonna be clogged or whatever, so,
Yeah,
okay. Appreciate that.
yeah.
And Christine, while you're sitting here, can I ask you a question? I've been told, maybe I've been told wrong, but the health department is going to provide glasses for the county employees, is
We
that?
are. I was gonna bring that up today.
Oh, okay.
So I got
Did-
them, I have them, Teresa's gonna bring them in later and distribute them, so.
Outstanding.
Anybody that needs one, if they need one for their family, we were able to grab some extras, so.
Thank you very much for that. We appreciate it, and I'm sure the employees of the county do as well. Anything else while you're here?
That's it.
Any other elected officials?
She want appointment.
Hang on, Baron. Go ahead, Shelley.
Just wanted to see what the progress was on the First Amendment audits. Back in September, Dana had sent out an email that he was going to produce some procedures and possibly a policy. We haven't heard any more about that, but I feel very strongly about that. If we can get that for Owen County, it helps me protect my coworkers and ourselves as elected officials if we have those things in place that they talked about that day at the conference. Just wanted to see if that has progressed at all yet.
I was gonna try to connect it with the ADA training and stuff as well. It's with all the other things you guys have been working on. I haven't gotten to it yet. It still is on the to-do.
We'll load him down pretty much weekly with new things on the item, so we'll put that on his things to do list. If we can move that up a little bit for you.
Okay. I've got one more. Just wanted to see again the progression of the policies for the innkeepers. We had talked about that back, commissioners had given approval for Dana to proceed with helping me with the policy for changing innkeepers from county to state collection. I haven't heard anything on that yet either. We also have a new confidentiality agreement from the state of Indiana that Dana has, that has a lot of information in it that's way beyond my knowledge, and I have sent that to him as well to see if that needs to be signed by us or you guys.
If it's an agreement of some sort, it'll have to be signed here at the commissioners, and Dana can confirm that, so if you want to check into those and get back with me on it, let me know where we're at.
Yeah, I'll bring those all up to the surface.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Baron?
Baron Burnett, Jackson Township, trustee. I'm still concerned about this 156 ordinance, IC 36-7-9. I do believe that the so-called, like I did the letter I gave to you, some of the remedies for this for people that are financially challenged and have other issues. This unsafe building fund, the monies that come in from that should be used first to try to find temporary housing for the people that's going to displace. I do believe that the receiver that's in the ordinance, I believe it should be part of his responsibility to try to find housing for these people that this ordinance will replace. And then, last but not least, on the so-called cleanup monies, when we find out that the cleanup monies far exceed what the value of the property is, it would be nice if it didn't hurt the taxpayers. I have to make up the difference for this, as I show in my letter. So I'm still concerned about it, and I hope that the township or the county commissioners do look towards the impact that this will have upon households when this thing starts rolling down the road. May not be right this second, but over a period of a year or two, you'll get more and more people. I'd like to be able to have, in a situation where the unsafe building fund and the receiver have a responsibility for the people that it displaces. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Hang on a minute. I want to make sure. Sheila, do we have anything from you before we get to public comment?
We have,
Go ahead. I'm sorry. We'll get Sheila afterwards. Go ahead.
3 Default, Jennings Township. March 6th, which is 4 Wednesdays ago, there was an issue that took place in southern part of the county or south of Spencer, and the highway department was involved. And there was an issue with a homeowner there that had a tree that was obstructing some, or needing some work done to it. And I'd like to know the true story of what took place and how it was handled, if that's at all available with you people up there. Thank you.
If you want to get back on the agenda, we'll discuss that. But in public comment, we only allow 3 minutes, and so we'll be more than happy to. There's some departments involved, so that is part of the new ordinance.
There's accusations going on out there right now. There's no way for the public to hear about what happened, because we don't have a newspaper.
Right.
So it's all accusations right now, and I'd like to hear some truth on it.
It was a public safety matter,
Yes.
and it was taken care of.
Okay, at whose expense?
I want to leave it at that right now until we get back on the agenda.
Thank you.
Okay? Thank you, Ernie. Anyone else? Sheila?
cell phone, or the AT&T bill. There's a Centrex, I believe, contract over there. This is, county received a $110,000 cell phone bill because it was a contract that had not been signed. They have sent it, we're going to do it. We'll have Dana follow up with the company to try to get the amount waived. They've gone kind of both ways. They will credit us, they won't. But it's, either way, we still have to have the current Centrex contract signed today so that they can apply to it in moving forward and then follow up on.
Requires one signature, gentlemen. I have been involved in an email in the 6 years that I've sat here. This has never been presented to the commissioners. Sheila went back and looked, and the previous auditor had signed this agreement, which had no authority to do so. So there was an email sent out last year to the three of us wanting to know who took care of the cell phone bills or the bills here. We get emails daily of bogus contracts and agreements. So I responded to this gentleman that the auditor takes care of the bills and that she should have been informed of this. The last one that was signed, Sheila, you looked it up, was signed by Patty Stewart in what, 1918, whatever it was. It's the last one we've seen. So then all of a sudden they say, hey, you didn't sign this contract, we're gonna send you a bill for $110,000. We're not paying it. We're just not. We'll fight it. We'll do something different. But the attorney's working on it. But anyway, I think Sheila has discussed them with them as well, and once we get this signed and they're acknowledging of it, they're willing to be flexible. Is that correct? Motion to sign the Centrex contract, which is part of the AT&T group.
Motion to sign the contract.
Got a motion by Joel?
Wait a minute, we wasn't gonna sign the contract now, but we are gonna sign the contract?
No, the contract was never sent to us. The previous auditor signed it on her own and never presented it to the commissioners. That's why we were unaware of this.
Oh, okay, I was a little misunderstanding there. So, okay,
So I got a second?
second.
All in favor? Aye.
Can I ask a question? What is our normal, our normal monthly bill is
is generally only $800 or $900.
Yeah.
$800 or $900, and this is $110,000.
That's what they're trying to say.
Yeah.
Missed a few months.
And we've paid it every month. No, that's not the issue. They're just saying because it wasn't signed in a timely manner, they're gonna penalize us. They're not. We'll fight them forever.
It's a Centrex, it's part of a government plan to save counties the monies, and again, obviously, this is just a 1-month bill, that if they don't get the contract signed, and it is a contract, so it does need to be presented and approved. That was what was related to AT&T.
And when was this contract sent out?
The initial email came out in November of last year saying that they needed to do it.
They didn't ask for a contract to be signed. They wanted to know who took care of the bill, is what they asked in their email, without presenting a contract. And I responded back to them here recently that the auditor took care of all the bills for the county, all the bills.
You'll also notice all of the red writing that is on here. You had given permission for Derek with HICOM to come in and go through the bills. These same bills, him and Maddie took the time to go through. There are multiple lines in offices that aren't being used, don't know where they go to, they just ring. So we're gonna whittle away on the $800 or $900 a month bill as well, because there are, again, several new lines that were not being used. Some are fax lines, some of them nobody ever answered, day or night. Derek will be presenting that follow-up with you as well.
And Sheila, thank you for that, Maddie as well. And I can elaborate on this a little bit, and Sheila and I have dealt with this for the last 4 years. Over time, offices have done whatever they wanted to. Picked up the phone, called, said, hey, I need this, I need that, and it gets done, and then we end up with these gigantic messes. We've tried diligently to stop those things from happening so we can keep it under control. So that's part of these problems here. It has to be managed properly, and those agreements have to come to this board through the auditor's office so these things don't happen. Also, just so everybody knows, and I'm not sure how it works, have no idea, speaking with AT&T, it took me, 2 months, a month to get a phone line and a fax line into our Veteran Service office. And speaking with this gentleman from Ohio that works for AT&T and organizes things here, telling me that in 2025, there'll be no such thing as a copper phone line. He assured me that we'll never be able to get another phone line in the county. So I don't know if we're gonna go to Wi-Fi calling, I have no idea, but I thought that that was very strange, but he said this will probably be the last phone line that's ever ran into this county. Just wanted to throw that out there because I'm still not sure how that's gonna work.
That's some space age stuff
Yeah.
there.
But he was very adamant about it. So,
I think we're almost done, Greg. I think we got a few left.
I got 2 left here, Greg. All right, Sheila, go ahead, I'm sorry.
We've already signed ACOM, and.
I got ACOM right here.
You had also sent the Commonwealth stuff. I don't know if there's anything to sign or if it was just information.
Just information on that one. I do have the AECOM contract we spoke of. Needs, I believe it requires 1 signature. Let me look here. Yes. This is for the landfill. Do I hear a motion to approve, President to sign?
I'll make a motion.
Got a motion by Joel, second by Bob. All in favor?
Aye.
How to do this? It's the last one.
Yeah.
It's the last one right there, Greg. Anything else, Sheila? I just want to thank you for all the work you do on all these bills and find problems, and you and I discuss, and then we get Dana involved, and that's what it takes to make it all right, so.
I believe that's it, Greg.
There's daily issues.
Yes.
Again, I feel we're getting, I know Dana's plate is full, but I do think we need to prioritize. Are you gonna get me copies of those, Greg?
Yes.
Okay.
You just do it all, don't you?
Anything else? Dana?
Nope, it's all
We
covered.
got everything covered? Joel?
Yeah, I want to make a comment. I want to address Barron. Well, I want to address anybody that's watching. I think there's a misconception with this ordinance. This county's not going head hunting. We're not going and looking. The idea behind this is that some people feel it necessary to bring to other people's attention how people live. A determination, a smart determination, a trained determination is going to be made whether there's any violations or not. This isn't a head hunting ordinance by any stretch of the imagination, and never, in all the discussions we've had, have any of us set out to run people off. I strongly believe, and I believe the people who have worked on this together, that this is very much a health and well-being type situation, and it's looking out for people. And I just think there's a total misconception with this. There probably isn't a person sitting in this facility or listening on YouTube that doesn't have some form of discrepancy within their property. Does that mean we're gonna go after them? No. But it's a decision-making process. If someone's called in on, the idea is we're gonna have a trained official that's gonna go out and make a determination whether anything has to be done, or very minor things have to be done. So I want that known, and I want that said publicly, because I think there's a total misunderstanding of how this is gonna work.
Hey, Greg.
And I can assure you that there's plenty to look at that doesn't have to do with misfortunate families or lower income folks. There's plenty in this county to look at that doesn't revolve around that. And that's what I wanted to say.
And Joel, thank you for that. I'm going to back up just a little bit, the fact that we're looking at property owners, not renters. It's property owners that are responsible for this stuff. So we're not looking to kick anyone out. We're looking to clean up the county. That's all we're asking.
Commissioners, the only time there would ever be an order for somebody to leave is if the living conditions were so horrible, no human being should be in those conditions. And the process would be to say, this is how bad it is, fix it as quick as you can so it's safe for these people to reside there. So whether or not there's another place to go, I know that's a concern, but they shouldn't be living in situations where they are in immediate danger. But that's just it, only immediate danger would they ever, ask anybody to leave a premises.
Correct.
I didn't mean to open it for discussion. I just wanted to, I think there's a misconception, and I think people need to look at it for what it is, not its potential. And it's going to take training, and it's a learning curve for this county as a whole, because none of this has been taken care of in the past. And I can assure you there's bigger problems than whether somebody's got a little trash piled up their backyard.
Oh, yeah.
The only thing, maybe health department, where you lost a person on the board. Have you got any recommendations or anything for us yet?
I do not. Do you guys have any?
Well, we talked about that this morning. We'll work on it as a joint effort, and we'll try to come up with something here in the next few weeks. I know it's real recent, so it's not something we have to do tomorrow, but
Yeah, just something we both need to get together on.
thank you for that. And I just have one thing, and Sheila touched on it with the Commonwealth. The commissioners paid for a feasibility study for growth in the county down Highway 43 to the Franklin property that we have down there, roughly 180 acres. And we received this study back. Just so folks know, and they say that, you know, the county's not growing, or we're not trying to make the county grow, that's totally not true. We would be happy to do whatever we can to have growth in this county. But to run a sewer line from the Owen Camp property to Franklin Road, $9,073,000. So we've got property down there that we cannot collect property tax on because we can't develop it because of those type of issues. Water is also another issue. We do have some water running down to just south of Hart's Gravel. That's in the process. Use some ARPA funds to help pay for some of that. But just want people to know that those are the kind of things and the walls that we deal with for growth in this county. And in speaking to them, after this was presented to me, the sewer system that we have now in the town of Spencer couldn't handle it anyway. So that has to be grown and updated before anything like this could happen. So by the time that happens, this will probably be 15 million. I'm just guessing, it may not be, but we looked at these things, and if we don't do these studies and find out what it's going to take to have growth, we have no idea. So just want the public to understand that kind of dollars, what it would take just to put sewer 1.5 miles, 2 miles down the road. Pretty scary. That's all I have. Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good day.
Take care, guys. I gotta get to the bathroom.
Yeah.